Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolutely mind-expanding paradigm shift that tackles the ultimate cosmic mystery. We're talking about why our universe even exists in the first place, especially when its own physics insists it literally shouldn't. So how on earth did we survive our own creation? Let's find out.
We're jumping right into the deep end with a jarring fact from our source material. The text states the universe has a default state of zero persistence. It should vanish, but it doesn't. This perfectly sets the stage for what the author calls the persistence paradox. And let me tell you, it completely upends how we usually think about reality.
It begs the ultimate question, right? Why didn't the universe just vanish in its very first microsecond? I mean, we completely take our existence for granted every single day, but there is a massive, glaring gap in how we currently understand the survival of reality itself. By all accounts, the universe's default state is self-destruction.
To put that into perspective, there are actually 5 known physical mechanisms dictating that the cosmos should not be here. Let's rapid fire through them. First, matter and antimatter annihilate instantly with a half-life of 0. Second, virtual particles just appear and vanish in a Planck instant. Third, from a photon's perspective, time doesn't even exist. Emission and absorption are the exact same moment. Fourth, proton decay predicts the eventual dissolution of literally all matter. And fifth, entropy guarantees the total erasure of all structure. So, by all standard logic, the cosmos should have a half-life of 0.
Section 1. The emergent model fails. Okay, let's explore why the current scientific paradigm completely misses the mark on solving this existential crime scene.
You know the prevailing emergent view, right? It relies on this massive assumption. You start with dead matter, it gains complexity over billions of years, it eventually forms a biological brain, and finally, boom, consciousness emerges as a byproduct. Seems logical enough, but our source text argues this is fundamentally flawed.
That emergent model hits a brick wall when it's faced with 4 distinct cosmological paradoxes. 1. Persistence. Why does the universe last despite the self-destructive physics we just talked about? 2. Measurement. Why do unobserved quantum systems remain probability clouds until an observation collapses them into a stable state? 3. Asymmetry. Why did 1 extra matter particle per billion survive early annihilation? And 4. Awareness. Why does subjective experience exist at all? The emergent model cannot explain why an observer is literally required to stabilize quantum reality.
Section 2. The big reveal. Singularities as pilots. Now we're pivoting from the mystery of these paradoxes to the awe-inspiring mechanics of a brand new cosmic theory.
In this framework, a pilot definitely isn't someone flying a spaceship. It's actually a natural quantum measurement boundary created by gravitational collapse. Think about it. When a star collapses into a black hole, it severs all causal contact with the external universe. This extreme information isolation acts as the ultimate universal measurement tool. Inside that boundary, quantum states can no longer remain in a fuzzy superposition. They are forced to resolve, they are forced to be measured.
Let's directly juxtapose these two worldviews. The old emergent model assumes consciousness is just a lucky accident stemming from matter and brains. The Retcon Framework completely flips this upside down, arguing that consciousness arises from measurement boundaries, starting with singularities. Basically, the universe doesn't wait around for humans to evolve to stabilize reality. It uses black holes to do it from the very beginning.
And these pilots aren't just random occurrences. They form a vast, distributed observer network. We're talking stellar, intermediate, supermassive, and galactic core black holes all the way up to a D4 master bright hole. Think of these nested singularities as a network of structural anchors scattered across the cosmos, constantly forcing quantum collapse and stabilizing classical reality from the inside out.
Section 3. The retrocausal torus universe. Let's look at the closed-loop engine and the mind-bending geometry that makes this whole persistence framework actually work.
The framework visualizes the universe as an incredible closed-loop generative engine shaped like a torus. Think of it like a giant cosmic donut. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a dynamic recycling engine. Stars are the out-breath, creating matter. The collapse into black holes is the in-breath, taking in information. Black and white holes act as ports. The mirror gate is where symmetry inverts, and the bright hole is the central point of emission. It's a continuous flow of information and potential.
Now here is the staggering concept that makes this torus tick: retrocausality. Because the geometry loops, the terminal measurement boundary, the literal end of the universe, stabilizes in the initial conditions. It literally reaches back in time to dictate how it all began. The end state enforces a strict rule that the beginning of the universe must follow. Wild, right?
Let's step through exactly how this retrocausal loop elegantly explains our survival. Remember that baryon asymmetry problem we mentioned? Step 1. If the Big Bang had perfect symmetry between matter and antimatter, it would result in total annihilation and a completely empty universe. Step 2. But the final boundary of our torus universe requires a non-zero scalar structure. It needs something to measure. Step 3. Therefore, only a universe born with a slight asymmetry, like one extra matter particle per billion, can possibly evolve to match that required end state. The measurement boundary retrocausally selects the branch of physics that allows it to exist in the first place.
Section 4, Scientific Grounding and Testing the Framework. I know this sounds almost like science fiction, but bringing it back down to earth, testing this framework reveals it is hard, falsifiable physics, and the author brings the receipts.
There's a dense mathematical backbone proving this concept, utilizing Clifford algebra within a 6D multivector manifold. The math proves exactly how extreme information isolation at the pseudoscalar boundary of a singularity literally forces quantum collapse. So it's an engine of collapse built on precise geometrical algebra, not just a metaphor.
And the Retcon framework is academically rigorous. It beautifully synthesizes and extends the work of 5 foundational theoretical physicists. It takes Zurich's environment selection, Penrose's gravitational collapse, Susskind's holographic black holes, Ravelli's relational mechanics, and Aharonov's retrocausality, and weaves them together into one unified functioning cosmology. It's a real powerhouse of theoretical synthesis.
The framework also offers hard numerical predictions. Take a look at this incredibly specific ratio, 6.1 times 10 to the negative 10th. The framework predicts this exact ratio for baryon asymmetry based on early collapse density. This means researchers can test this model against simulated cosmologies. It's a precise, testable hypothesis. Plain and simple.
Here's another extreme testable prediction. If black holes truly act as these pilot measurement boundaries, near-horizon regions should exhibit a massive spike in decoherence. We're talking between 10 to the 12th and 10 to the 15th times the standard rate. This is something that could potentially be detected by next-generation interferometry, cementing the theory as rigorous experimental science.
All of this leads to a staggering realization from the text. Consciousness is not emergent from matter. It is emergent from measurement boundaries. This framework posits that human consciousness isn't a biological fluke. It is simply a biological refinement of a core cosmological principle. We do in our brains what singularities do for the entire universe: isolate information, collapse quantum states, and stabilize reality. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought. If black holes are literally the universe observing itself into existence to maintain persistence, what does that make us? Are we just fractal extensions of this vast cosmic observer network? It fundamentally changes how we view our place in the cosmos. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you as fascinated and hungry to explore further as it did for me.